And the man who's keeping an eye on all of it is Adriano. And Adriano, welcome to the show. How are you?
Very well, Neil. Good to be back as always.
Well, at the end of us talking Serie A, we will get your take on the Pochettino out, Mourinho in story. I'm sure you've got an opinion. I know you and I were on social media together talking about it during the course of the week. But I obviously want to start out with Atalanta at home against Juve. Interesting match because both clubs have had their issues.
Big match and a massive way to start this back end of 2019. Atalanta, as you did correctly say, one win in their last 7 in all competitions, one win in their last 5 in Serie A. A really big match this weekend against Juventus, of course. I'll be there, very much looking forward to covering this match. But Atalanta, they do risk falling further away from that top 4. Some sides in really, really solid form. But they get Juventus at potentially the best possible time because off the back of the international break, a couple of injury concerns, and that man, Cristiano Ronaldo, the big saga was prior to the international break, Juventus AC Milan, which Juve did win 1-0, but of course Ronaldo substituted after just 55 minutes, was not happy, left the stadium before the match day finished, and that was that. And, well, there's been a lot of tension reportedly amongst Juventus training camp ever since. So there are some reports suggesting that Ronaldo will take the team out to dinner. There is also a breaking report now with Maurizio Sarri all but ruling him out of the match this weekend, which may be a little advantage for an Atalanta side who will be desperate for all 3 points.
Could be interesting, because if I took you out to dinner or you took me out to dinner, right, I think we'd probably eat quite a bit. The Ronaldo dinner, from all accounts, is not particularly spectacular anyway. That's why he's got a physique like he has. You'd think he just eats salad. So when he's taking the team out for dinner, it might not be as exciting as they were hoping for.
I think they're just looking forward to getting together and hopefully putting that behind them, because obviously Juve with a big second half of the season to come, and with Inter in really good form domestically as well, they need to ensure that moments like this do not disrupt the momentum that they've built. Of course, they do remain the only team in Europe's top 5 leagues that are unbeaten in all competitions this season.
Yeah, and for both clubs, busy period, obviously. You want to keep your eye on Serie A, but Champions League is still there, hovering for both teams, even Atalanta as well. So their eye will be very much on that. So it's that time of the year where clubs, particularly those which don't have massive depth, have to be very careful how they juggle all of these fixtures.
Well, particularly Atalanta, of course, they're on the verge of elimination in the Champions League after that poor start. But if they do beat Dinamo Zagreb this week, of course, the reverse fixture, they lost 4-0 on the opening match day. But if they can win, well, they give themselves a chance of incredibly progressing in the final match day. So while there will be an eye on that match, I think they'll be fully focused on Juve first and foremost. As for Juventus, massive match next week or during the week against Atletico Madrid. I've got a very busy few days. I'll be at that match as well. So really looking forward to that. And I feel for Juventus, priority is certainly there. Ronaldo, well, rested, injured, whatever you like this weekend. He will certainly feature against his long-term rival in Atletico Madrid, of course, from his Real Madrid days. But a big few days for those 2 clubs, and Inter and Napoli, of course, who are in the Champions League as well.
Yeah, and a big couple of days for you as well. It's good that we've got our man keeping eyes on all of those games at the venues. Well, as I mentioned to you before we came on air, I was in a very interesting situation this week at the Italian Chamber of Business, and I saw grown men crying. I thought, what on earth is going on here? And then I just found out some of them were AC Milan fans, some of them were Lazio fans, and some of them were Napoli fans, all 3 sets of which are not particularly happy. We've got this fixture, AC Milan and Napoli, a big one.
Yes, it can reduce grown men to tears. Is a big, big match this weekend, Milan-Napoli. So many storylines in the lead up to this match. Of course, Carlo Ancelotti returns to face AC Milan in a match which still reports are saying may potentially be his last. Napoli have Liverpool at Anfield in the Champions League this week as well. So what a big week it is for Ancelotti and this Napoli side. It's 7th v 14th. Now, who would have thought that come the start of the season? But such has been the case. Milan, 4 wins in their 12 fixtures, only 11 goals scored. Based on their recent form, hard to see them getting a result against Napoli. But as you can see as well, Napoli's form not great either. No win in their last 5 in all competitions. Have been struggling for goals, have been struggling for results. And this one, definitely tough to predict how it ends up this weekend. If it were up to me, look, I'm predicting this will end all square, 0-0, 1-1. I can't see the two sides being separated, and I think Napoli a few headaches of their own. We know that the president has had issues with his players. We know that the players and the coaches have had a few arguments recently, and yeah, very hard to see light at the end of the tunnel for this current Napoli side. But a massive opportunity to pick up a rare 3 points against the struggling Milan side.
Now, what about Ibrahimovic? Is he going to come back to Italy? There's been talk that AC Milan are talking to him about a January return, but it's a lot of money to pay for what could be just a short 18-month stint.
Yeah, it is 6 million euros, the fee being reported. I can confirm that Milan have spoken with the agent of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Mino Raiola. Those are certainly underway. However, I can also tell you that the favourite, and it is a surprise to some, but the favourite to land Zlatan Ibrahimovic is Bologna. So Bologna, a club, yes, that may be struggling in terms of the standings in Italy. Yes, a club that is certainly not of the same level or profile of an AC Milan. Bologna, given Zlatan Ibrahimovic's relationship with Siniša Mihajlovic, the coach of Bologna, they are the front runners to what would be an incredible acquisition of Zlatan, despite being in the twilight years of his career. So Milan, a chance, but Bologna, certainly the front runners still at this point.
OK, let's talk a little bit about Torino and Inter Milan. Surely an opportunity for Inter Milan to change their own fortunes, which have just stuttered a little bit.
A bit indifferent of late for Inter Milan. Similarly to Juve, getting the results, but far from convincing. But obviously it's their performances in the Champions League have slightly hindered their nice start under Antonio Conte. They go to Torino this weekend, a mid-table side in Torino, but a mid-table side that they have struggled at, particularly away from home in recent seasons. But yes, Belotti as well. There are goals in this match. And look, I think Inter certainly one of the strongest sides defensively in all of Europe, let alone Italy. But I do envisage some goals in this match. So looking forward to Saturday in Italy. A thrilling day, of course. Atalanta-Juventus, Milan-Napoli, and then wrapping up with Torino and Inter Milan. Should be a thrilling 3 games and plenty of action to come in Serie A this weekend.
Adriano, only got a couple of moments left, but I want to talk about Roma. There's also been this link, Dzeko and Manchester United. Give us your take on Roma at home this weekend.
Interesting match this weekend. They take on Brescia, a side who they will be expected to beat. I can tell you I spent the day with Paulo Fonseca, the manager of Roma, earlier this week and had a long time chat with him just with regards to his plans and where they're at the moment. And despite some indifferent results, he really has this Roma side moving very, very well. A very impressive man. And I feel that he's comfortable where he's at the moment, but he will want to bring in a couple of key players in January. And look, Edin Dzeko has been linked as one who will leave the club, but I can tell you based on my recent conversation with Fonseca, that will not be the case. He is one of, if not the leaders of his side in this Roma club, and I feel that they're building something very special with him as a key part of the project.
OK, quick comment on the fact that Pochettino has lost his job, and probably even more importantly that Mourinho has come in. What does Adriano think of that? Is that a good move by Spurs? What do you think?
Look, I think it was a move that was coming sooner or later. I can tell you I'm well aware of the fact through some sources over here in Italy that Mourinho was being spoken to way back in March this year. So this is not something that has just come out of nowhere. I think Pochettino was wonderful in his time in England and certainly at Tottenham. What he achieved may never be repeated, but I think that Pochettino, now the time is right for him to move on to a bigger club. That's no disrespect, of course, to Tottenham, but already Bayern Munich are the favourites to land the signature of Pochettino at some point. So I think the timing was right for Pochettino to move on. I do not like the way that it was handled by Tottenham, given what Pochettino achieved just 6 months ago. And I feel for Jose Mourinho, this is his last chance at a top club in all of Europe. And I think that if he fails here, that will be that for a manager who, for me, is one of the greatest of all time, no doubt about it. But I feel it was the right move for all. And I think once the emotion settles and everything is taken care of, I think Pochettino will move on to bigger and better things.
Adriano, thank you very much. We're going to move on, not necessarily to bigger and better things, just to a break. But always a pleasure talking to you. Adriano, busy weekend. He's our man, keeping us up to date on everything going on in Serie A. Let's talk now about Jukes, because have you downloaded it? Well, you should have downloaded it a couple of weeks ago when the Springboks were winning the Rugby World Cup. But now is the time, if you are supporting your football team, to download whatever music it is that is going to inspire you to prepare to watch your team in action. Don't forget, DSTV is giving Premium, Compact Plus and Compact customers free access to Duke's VIP. And what's more, once you sign up, you can add 4 family members to enjoy Duke's VIP as well. So there it is. Do it now. Do it before we go to the break, because you want to join me after the break. Euroconnect continues. Stay with us.
DSTV Now is a PVR in your pocket. You can stream movies, sports, and your favorite shows when you're on the go. Plan your viewing schedule with our easy-to-use guide. DSTV Catch-Up keeps you up to date with the latest episodes and action from the sporting world. Connect to your Explorer to set your recordings so you never miss a minute. Download the app and keep the world at your fingertips with DSTV Now.
That